Hello, it is Topical Tuesday, August 13th, 2019. Steve Sipress here, and I don't think you can see it really well on the phone. There it is. There's a beautiful full moon just over the mountains behind me. Here it is, right above my head. I've got a moon on my head. Anyway, so in the news is this movie that was produced and just about ready to open up in theaters in about a month from now, called The Hunt. And I saw this being bandied about on social media. Jeremy Danley is here, great seeing you. And I was like, what's this all about? And all kinds of people were up in arms over this movie, The Hunt. I mean, it was going viral all over social media. People were telling me they were seeing it talked about on the news and on TV. I mean, you cannot pay for that kind of publicity. So everyone heard of this movie, The Hunt. I mean, I watched the whatever you call it, the coming attraction thing, and I didn't recognize any of the actors. Oh, one. I recognized one of the actors. We seen her in something. And it looked like a fairly low-budget, ridiculous thing, and yet, look at all the publicity it was getting. I'm like, what? This is as if it's like Spider-Man or Star Wars 42 or whatever the heck. Like, it's getting a ton of publicity. Everyone's heard of this thing. It's all kinds of controversy. I'm like, I got to see this thing now. And get this, people were complaining. Here's the gist of it. Well, the bottom line is, then I saw a few days later that the production company, whatever company, pulled the plug and decided not to release the film after all this hubbub and all these complaints, and yet no one has seen the film. I mean, you gotta love this. People are complaining about the movie, of course, without seeing it, just without the trailer. That's what it is, just about the trailer. They're complaining, and yet in the trailer, I mean, this movie's been made 100 times, this hunt, humans hunting humans. It's been made over and over and over. I mean, what was it called? The hunting games or something like that. The girl with the bow and arrow, they made like 5 of them. She's going out to some island. They put her on an island with 10 people or something in the future, and she shoots with a bow and arrow. Woody Harrelson was in it. I remember the hunting games or whatever it was called. The Hunger Games, right? So Deliverance. People have been hunting people in movies for a long, long time. Here, all the uproar is because it's got a political nature to it. It's the globalist elite liberals are hunting the Trump-supporting deplorable conservatives from flyover country. So it's the coastal elites are hunting the people from middle America and south, where the coastal elites would never be seen, and yet they are never short on telling everyone that lives there how much better they know how to run everyone's life. It's always off topic to me, but it's always curious to me that a lot of these global elites are book smart, high IQs and all that kind of stuff, and yet their whole nature of their politics is arguing how stupid they are, that unknown government bureaucrats know better than they do how to run their own lives. It's completely strange to me. But anyway, so I don't know how many people had the same response as me. I got to see this now after all this buzz and all this what's going on. But I see all the complaints, and a lot of people that I'm connected to on Facebook that are conservative seem to be the ones complaining, not the liberals. The complaints are coming from the conservatives going, oh, I see, it's the global elitists are hunting down the deplorable. Yeah, but has anyone paid attention again? No one's seen the movie. Pay attention. This movie's been made 100 times. The plot's always the same. Whoever is the forlorn, hunted group of people are always the heroes of the film. They're the underdogs overcoming the big, bad, evil hunters who are immorally hunting other human beings. Of course, the hunted. Everyone roots for the hunted. So in this case, everyone, unless I'm wrong, I haven't seen it either, but I would think eventually, hopefully it comes out. But I know that the studio pulled the plug and said, that's it. We're not releasing it because of all the mass shootings. Mass shootings, another ridiculous, of course, publicity and media created thing. There are more people shot every Saturday night in Chicago than there are in these mass shootings. So that was mass shootings that happen once in a while? How about the constant shootings that happen all the time? Not to mention all over the world. Anyway, Jeremy Danley says there's a movie called The Last Supper about liberals inviting conservatives to dinner and killing them. And Karen Dabby is here. Great seeing you. Yeah, see, there you go. That sounds like exactly the same, although, for some reason, there's not all this uproar about that one, but all these, suddenly these conservatives who love to call the global elitist snowflakes, because of course they are weaker and more snowflakey, but this is clearly a snowflake-like reaction from the conservatives going, oh, that movie is immoral. Oh, you're hunting the deplorables. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, are you out of your mind? I even watched the coming Traction trailer thing, and I see right in there that these deplorables are walking around with guns. So just like I said, of course, they're going to very quickly take the guns away from the global elitists. I mean, let's put it this way. I have a client who is really big in the outdoorsman world and the Second Amendment. He's like the head of some Second Amendment organization or something. And I'm just thinking, you put him on this island alone without another, however many, 5 or 10 are in this group of deplorables, and you put as many global elitists as you want all over the island with any weapons they want, he will kill them all. What, you think global coastal elites know how to survive out in the middle of nowhere better than conservatives who are outdoors people who are hunting, who know how to shoot guns? You think the liberal elites know how to do that? Give me a break. I mean, that reminds me of the Rambo movie. Did you not love Rambo movies? I love Rambo movies. You got one, of course, just like this, it's fanciful, it's fiction, but you got one guy who is being hunted by 100 or more law enforcement and vigilantes, and just everybody in the whole town is hunting him. And what does he do? He kills them all, and all he has is a knife. But he could take their guns and shoot people, but instead it's not as much fun that way. So instead, he whittles down, branches off a tree into pointy sticks, and that thing springs up and hits him in the face, and he digs a hole and they fall into the trap, and he comes out of the mud and strangles them, and he pretty much invents 100 different ways, or doesn't invent, but he displays 100 different ways of killing people that have guns when he doesn't. That's kind of like what this Hunt movie would be, if you ask me, if it's anything like reality. The deplorable conservatives would of course overcome whatever head start or whatever handicap they were put in at the beginning of the movie by the snowflake global elitists. They would overcome them and kill them all, and that would be triumphant, and it would be like, see, you evil globalist elites that were hunting these deplorables, the deplorables came back and they had their day and they beat you. So why is it all the conservatives booed this movie out of existence so that it's not even being released? So here's the bottom line. The lesson for you as a business owner and entrepreneur, that's the kind of marketing you want to create, something that's controversial and that's newsworthy. So they're using global elitists and conservative and deplorable, all these terms that, of course, are recognizing what's going on today in America, where we're more divided than ever. You thought we were divided by the last president for 8 years. We were, but that was child's play. This guy, certainly, America was divided before he even got into office, and all the establishment lovers that love the corrupt way things were and unfortunately still are. I mean, 2 years, even 4 or even 8 years of one outsider coming in, I don't think is going to stop the establishment, corrupt Washington, D.C., big government, big business destruction of the individual that's going on in the country. But anyway, you got everyone all divided along all these lines, which is exactly what the politicians want to be happening in America. They want everybody thinking that it's conservative versus liberal, it's Republican versus Democrat. Of course it is not. It's all the politicians versus all the people. It's all the big business and big government people that profit from the whole military-industrial corrupt cycle that's being perpetrated on all the rest of Americans. And so this movie ought to be a uniting thing, but at least the producers of the movie did the right thing right up until they pulled the plug. and said, now we're not going to release it because they got massive publicity. I bet I'm not the only one. I bet so many people want to now see what's this movie all about. That's how you do it. That's curiosity-based marketing, by the way. They don't reveal the end of the movie. Of course, what movie does? Well, actually, as you mention it, just as an aside, another joke, my beautiful wife Michelle was watching the movie Lincoln the other day. It's like a 20-year-old movie about Abe Lincoln. I walked by, I'm like, what are you watching? No, we're watching Lincoln. I'm like, I know the ending, right? See, I'm not a professional comedian, but, we can know the ending and still enjoy the movie. And in this case, you'd have to believe you know the ending. The hunted people always come out victorious. Why, therefore, would the conservatives put up such a stink about this movie? Anyway, that's what you want in your marketing if you have the guts to do it. You want people putting up a stink. You want controversy. You want the buzz going around. You want half people saying like that looks great and half the people saying that looks awful, and whatever it is, they're talking about you like crazy. I mean, we have a guy in the White House who's there because he knows this, and he did just that. That's what made him all his money as an entrepreneur. That's what got him into the White House. That's what got him the #1 TV show. Why don't you do the same? Take a page out of The Hunt and use curiosity and controversy in your marketing. Get tons of attention, and then just don't make the mistake of pulling the plug on whatever you're promoting. Follow through with it, launch it, and watch the bucks come rolling in. I'd have to believe this movie was made for a pittance in today's dollars, where these superhero movies are being made for $100, $200, $300 million. This thing was probably made for $20 million or something. Well, they'd bring in $30 million on the first weekend, but they pulled the plug. I don't know. Nice to be independently wealthy where you can't use a $10 million profit on the first weekend of a new business. Anyway, what do we got here? That's enough from me. Let's see any questions, comments, concerns. Jeremy says the world seems to be ran by pissers, moaners, whiners, and complainers. And then he's got some long run-on word I can't even... Smash the complaint... Yeah, I love it. Smash the complaint triarchy. Yeah, see, we are not I talk about that a lot. We're not an excuse-minded society anymore. We are now an excuse-driven society. Being a victim is pretty much the highest level you can be. I can't decide whether it's better to have a beautiful full moon over my head or to have some green hair. So at least I have some hair on the top of my head. So let's do both. I've got some green spiky hair in a mohawk, and I've also got the full moon over there. Kind of cool. Anyway, what else? Jeremy also says, when you polarize, you monetize. I like that one. There you go. See, I could have made the whole video 1 minute. Okay, that's it. Dear viewer, dear listener, dear reader, wherever you're getting this information today, when you polarize, you monetize. With, again, that caveat. As long as you don't pull the plug. As long as you don't say coming soon, and then you polarize and you run off of things that are in the news, that are topical, that are on people's minds, you create controversy, you create curiosity, and then just actually put out the product or service for sale and collect all the money that you are rightly due for that brilliant promotion and marketing that you did. Way too many business owners, I know what you're thinking out there, oh, I can't be doing that, and that won't work in my, I have a highly regulated industry, it won't work, or you don't understand my customers in my town, that's not a good idea, or I'm a pillar of the community, I can't be seen as polarizing and pissing people off, and what, like, I know. There's a million more reasons why not to use this strategy than there are to use it. There's one reason why to use it. It works. I guess there's two reasons. It's fun, and it makes a ton of money. And to me, that's what owning a business ought to be all about. Making a ton of money, having a lot more fun, and a lot more stress. So use the strategy of the hunt, then just follow through and put your thing out there for sale and collect the money. And Jeremy says, a very punk look for me. There it is. I am the sex. All I need is a nose ring and some face tattoos, and we're ready to go. And so that'll do it. See, isn't it great to have a fantastic professional comedian as a client who comes onto my videos and makes them entertaining and fun Not to mention he's also a brilliant marketer in his own right, and so he has the line of the day. When you polarize, you monetize. Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks everyone else for being here live. Thanks anyone watching on the replay. You want help with this, by the way, even if it's just help getting out of your own way, getting over all your excuses, and putting this to work. And damn the torpedoes of whoever complains. Whoever complains is likely never to give you money anyway. If you want help with your advertising and marketing, with breaking through the clutter, with getting recognized, with getting attention, especially if you want to do it for free, like this movie The Hunt brilliantly did, go to helpfromsteve.com and I will help you, just like I have helped thousands of entrepreneurs over the last few decades to do the same thing, and I've done the same thing with dozens of my own businesses. So helpfromsteve.com, and I'll be back here tomorrow on World Wide Web Wednesday. The tip I have for you will help you make money via the internet. As the full moon rises over the mountains behind me and my green, spiky mohawk cactus hairdo sits on top of my head, that'll do it for today. Catch you tomorrow. Over and out.